All right, that was way louder than I thought. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on this week's video. So if you caught last week's video, maybe it was the week before last, I'm not really sure, but you've seen I unboxed my newest tent for 2025. I'm gonna be adding this to the Overland setup on my Tacoma, which I've got in here with us today. So this is the Stellar tent. It's a clamshell style tent. If you missed that video, be sure to check it out. I kind of go in detail on this tent and I compare it to another style tent and kind of show you the different pros and cons and stuff for those tents. But today I want to swap it out, and since I can't fit my truck in my new shop because I added the lift kit to my truck last year, I did go ahead and remove my Overland setup. And that is a really cool thing about the way I built my Tacoma out, was I utilized the Diamondback, and using the Diamondback paired with the Yakima rack, I can literally build my whole camping setup on the back of my truck, but then I use my tractor with my forks. I release a couple of bolts out of the T-tracks on the Diamondback, and I can pick up my whole Overland rack and bring it inside. So we should be able to build this completely out today, excuse me, by swapping the tents out. I'm gonna be taking off my old Nature Nest tent. This is the tent you've probably seen on my channel that pops straight up. It doesn't really hinge on any side. It just kind of goes straight up and down. We're gonna be swapping it out today with the Stellar, and I'm gonna be swapping out my awning. So for a while now, I've been running the old Benny Hike aluminum hard shell awning, and I've had that on there since last year, maybe a year and a half ago. But I've been wanting to upgrade to a 270 awning on my truck. TopOak Overland also just released one, so I've got that today, and we should be able to swap the tents out onto my rack, swap out the awnings, get everything set up in here, and I'm also gonna be installing the aux beam control panel to this thing so that I can operate all of my kingpin lights. Hopefully we can get everything buttoned up and then take it out and bolt it onto the truck. The weather is absolutely horrible in Alabama right now. We're having like some Arctic blast come through, and once it's gone, it should be fine. But right now there's a lot of ice and stuff on the ground. So us being able to do this inside is awesome. Let's hop right into it today though. I wanna take some measurements because the way this setup is on my truck is it sticks over the cab of my truck. And the way I've got everything, I'll throw kind of an image here of my truck. The way the tent sticks over, it kind of butts right up against my boxes that I have mounted on top of my cab. So I wanna make sure that when we mount this new tent onto the rack, I do the measurements and get the same kind of overlap. That way, when we go set it on the truck, we don't have any issues there. But everything should be plug and play. We should be able to swap these out and then set this thing up exactly how we want it and go start using it. I think before we start unbolting the tents and swapping those out and swapping the awnings out, I need to go ahead and uninstall my kingpin lights. And I'll show you guys really quick how I've got them mounted. So here's my kingpin light. It runs across the back. This is what lights up the tailgate for us when we're cooking. I've got another one running down that side for the ladder, and then one right over here that lights up under the awning area. I've got them mounted by drilling into the mounting area of the tent. You see right here, I've got them riveted in, so I'll have to drill those rivets out. My plan is to just hang them down into the floor, and then we're gonna remount those lights in the same location on the new tent. I've already removed my aux beam control panel because I'm gonna be upgrading this. This is their old school 8-button, and it's just a green light, but they just released these. This is their new RGB control panel, and this one's actually a 12-button. It's much bigger. Let's go side by side, I'll show you. So here's the one I was running. It's just a green traditional 8-button. Here is the new RGB 12-button. So we should be able to program each button to a different color, and it does a lot more cool stuff than their old one. My only concern is I think the fuse panel for this is a little bit bigger than what I'm currently running. And I'll show you how I got that set up too. So I've got this old Apache box from Harbor Freight mounted to the side of my rack, but on the inside of it, I've got the fuse box. So this fuse box connects to the controller up there and kind of operates or controls where the power goes when you push the button to which light or, you know, whatever you got it hooked to. And the way I got power running to this is I've got let's see if I can show you. I've got an Anderson plug right here. So whenever we mount this back to my truck, I've got a battery in the bed of my Diamondback, or, you know, up under my Diamondback with a cable with an Anderson plug. And I just kind of scoop it out the front by the cab and plug it up, and it gives power to the whole setup and, you know, power for the tent and everything else. My only concern right now is that this new one is not gonna fit. Ooh, I might be able to make that fit. I might have to do a little modifying to the tab, but we're gonna have to add this new fuse panel in there and take that one out. But I guess first thing I need to do is get to work uninstalling these kingpin lights and getting everything swapped over. We can kind of deal with the switch panel last. All right, that wasn't too bad at all. It's definitely easier if you've got help, but I was able to kind of slide one tent off into the floor and then kind of slide the other one up on here. Before I go mounting anything down, like I have the kingpin lights kind of just laying around the tent because I've got to figure out exactly how I want to mount them on this tent. But before I do any of the lights or anything, I want to go ahead and mount up the 270 awning. I'm gonna take some measurements and kind of get the tent where I think it should be. And then we'll take off this awning. And this awning actually comes with some cool stuff. So I didn't know it came with this. Check out this stake hammer. It's got like a little flat area for you to hammer the stake into the ground. And it's got a hook with a little handle on the end. That came with the awning, that was pretty cool. The stakes that it came with, it actually came with two different styles for the straps. It came with that style there, which is like a big spike with a hook on it so you can tie your lines down to, and then it came with this style here. But it's got both of them in here. This will just stay in the back of the truck so we can stake down different areas. I've also got the annex room for this. I don't know if I've even mentioned that yet, but once we get outside, once this weather clears up and we're able to take this outside, I've got a room that when the annex or the 270 awning is completely stretched out, it's a room that Velcros to it all the way around, and it creates a tent on the ground outside of the actual tent or the truck. So we'll test that out too once the weather gets better and we go outside. But for now, I'm gonna take these heavy duty brackets. This is what you'll get for the brackets. And these are gonna mount in place of where these are, and it'll be, I'm gonna try to go flush with the tent if I can, and then they'll mount down like this, and then the awning will go across it. So let me knock this out really quick. It should go pretty smooth. I'm gonna zip this off first and then take some measurements and go from there. All right, guys, so as you can tell, I've already got the tent mounted on the truck, and you can also probably tell I am freezing to death out here. It's below 20 degrees here in Alabama. We're in some Arctic blast right now, but the sun did come out, so I did decide to go ahead and throw the tent on. We're up here in the mountains here in Alabama. I want to walk you guys around it really quick before we pop everything up, because I did go ahead and rewire everything with that new aux beam setup. So let me show you how it turned out, and then we'll pop everything up, set up the 270 awning, which is awesome. I've already had it open once at home, and let's check this thing out. Before I left the house to come up here today, my truck was filthy, and I had the bright idea to spray it off. And I literally have icicles hanging off the truck. It was so cold on the way up here. Look at this ice on the bottom of the awning right now. It is just, it was filthy, so I had to spray it off, but now look at that, ice all over the Diamondback. But what do you guys think? I think this tent turned out amazing. As you can tell right here, I've got the aux beam switch panel installed. There's no power to it right now because I'll show you how I do it. First, I'll show you how I plug it up. I think I showed you in the shop, but I got this Anderson connector right here. It kind of pops right out of the Diamondback on the front of my bed. And I did end up upgrading my box. I went to Harbor Freight, bought the next size up Apache box, and I went ahead and wired in the new switch panel. There's ice falling out of this thing. But I've got the new switch panel installed. As you can see, all the fuses are there. And I've got some things hooked up. I'm gonna be adding stuff to this later on, but everything's nice and secure on the side of the rack in a waterproof case. That's a really cheap way to install something like that on a bed rack. I got my kingpin lights mounted up to the new tent. There's icicles hanging off of them too. And kingpin light here, and then a kingpin light right here. I also went ahead and ran power up to the tent. So let me show you how this works. In the bed of my truck, I have got a Power Queen 100 amp hour battery with a breaker switch. Here's that breaker switch. We'll turn it on. Once you turn the breaker switch on, it gives power to our new controller here. And I've got some of these hooked up, so I'll go over it with you really quick. This is the interior. So when I have power on to this button, it actually turns power on to the USB plug that I installed inside the tent. And I'll show you guys that once we climb up in there. I'll turn that off for now. The rear light is cargo. I've got it wired to my rear kingpin light. And then as you can see, the arrows I got left for this light, and then right turns on this light. Check that out. These lights are awesome, guys. I'm definitely gonna be installing more of these later. I've got a shorter one actually installed right here up under the Diamondback with a push button or a touch button right here so that I can see to get my gear in and out of the bed. That's a really cool addition. These kingpin lights are awesome. I'll have these linked in the video description if you're interested. They just come out with some new ones that I'll be testing out soon too. But for now, let's turn these lights off. Now, as you can see, I haven't got these wired up yet, but I do plan on adding this one that says aux. I'm gonna be putting another box somewhere over here with some exterior USB plugs so that we can plug up the lights that are built into the 270 awning. We'll be able to plug them up right here. I've got chase lights. I do plan on adding me some amber chase lights for when we're overlanding or trail riding. We can show them off, not show them off, but be able to be seen, in dusty roads or something like that. I've got some underglows that I'm gonna add back here. So I'll put a sticker on for that. And then we're gonna be adding a water pump back here this year. These I don't have any plans for yet, but I do got them kind of labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 just for now. But now let's pop this thing up before I turn into an ice cube out here. Man, it's pretty out here. We're up here right next to a green field in Choccolocca Management Area in Northeast Alabama. Now let's pop this tent up really quick. I got it kind of level, but I really didn't put a level to it. I just kind of threw blocks up under the back and got it close. So we'll pop everything up. I did bring my heater. If you guys saw that video where I converted this portable diesel heater and made it actually portable with a Dewalt battery. So I'm gonna plug it up today and show you guys how that little porthole works on the side of this tent. All right, I hope the sun is not just killing this shot. I tried to get over here up under the shades in this corner on this green field. Let me climb up here on the tailgate. Ooh. And now we should just be able to push this thing up. This is the first time I popped it open on my truck. These ladders have some really good hooks on them too, so makes it nice and sturdy on the side of your truck. All right, that was quick, but my fingers are definitely numb now. So I wanna go ahead and get the heater installed on this thing. Let me show you, if you haven't seen that video, I'll show you my portable heater. My portable heater is this guy right here. And it's a diesel heater that I've got hooked up with a Dewalt battery. If you didn't see that video and you're interested, definitely check it out. It's where I built this little vent. So this is gonna slide through our new little porthole in this tent, and then we'll be able to hook our diesel heater from the outside to it. Let's see how it's gonna fit. So this should go right out here, just like that. I did realize that I'm gonna have to get me another hose. I shortened this hose in the last video because I think the tent maybe sat a little bit lower, or either the truck is just really high off the ground. I may end up having to get me one of those tables that hook to your back tire to set this up a little bit higher, or either just get me a longer hose to come up. But I got it in there for now. I'll show you guys the inside in a minute. Let's go ahead and kick this thing on. I'll show you my heater really quick. So I added a switch back here on the back that you flip on, and all that does is turn the power on from the Dewalt battery so that it can start up the glow plug. And then I've got a remote, see the screen here? I've got a remote that operates the screen, and you can actually turn the temperature way up and get this thing cooking. So as that warms up, once the glow plug gets hot enough, it'll kick on. And I think I've got plenty of diesel fuel in here. Oh yeah, I got plenty of fuel in there. So once it warms up, the glow plug will kick on and we'll get heat. Now, while that's warming up though, let's set up this 270 awning. I hope this wind isn't too bad. This wind is starting to pick up here a good bit. Man, that tent looks absolutely huge back here. Let's see how it looks with that awning set up. My wife probably won't be the only one climbing in that tent once that heater kicks on. It is cold. Look at all this ice. So let's get this thing set up for the first time. And I did notice something too. The fabric that this awning's made out of is the same exact matching fabric. It's like, what's it called? It looks like the inside of a beehive, the honeycomb look. But they got the honeycomb pattern on it and the tent. So there's just 3 straps. Undo your 3 straps. And the first wing comes out, and we'll hook it up here to the front of the truck for now. And then the next one, this one here should go all the way around the back over top of our camping area. And just like that, we've got a 270 awning all the way around. Now you can actually use this awning without the legs, but it also has these kick down legs with built-in lights. And you just pull these legs down one at a time. They got the spikes already in the ground, and you can set them up how you want to. You don't have to set all the legs up, but there's several legs around here. We'll just set a couple of them up. But this offers so much coverage for camping. All right, she wanted to know if she could get in the tent yet. Y'all can hear the heater's actually going. Let's see if it's kicked on. Well, I mean, it's definitely kicked on. Let's see if it's warm in here yet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is pumping in some heat now. Here's the little vent I just slid in the hole there. I love having this porthole built into this tent. See how this works? And you don't have to worry about cramming that hose in a window or something like that. And there's ventilations at the top, so any condensation or anything goes out. I've got the power already on up here with the skylight, plenty of light in here. Yeah, it's warm. You want to get in?
Please. It's freezing.
All right. Now I'm jealous. She's going to get in there where it's warm. Hand me a boot bag. Let me hang it, and we'll stick your shoes in a bag. That's a cool thing about this tent, too, is it comes with these boot bags. And the way these work is they slide right into this little channel here on the tent. I got my rack in the way a little bit with that one. But now you got a place you can open this up and drop your shoes in. That way you don't get mud and stuff in your tent. And then when you're time to get out, you just reach out and get your shoes.
Come in.
All right, zip it up. There's a lot of room in that tent, ain't there? Is it warm in there?
Yeah, between that and the sunlight coming in, it's really nice.
But check out this coverage we got up under this awning. And what's really neat is the lights. See these lights right here? Since it's daytime, I'm not gonna get to show you those, I guess, working in this video. But the way they work is they've got these little plugs. Let's see if I can show you right here. And it comes with a cable with a USB on the end of it, USB plug, and it just plugs into each of these lights. And it's just one USB plug. And that's what I'm gonna be adding here is another one of those small Apache boxes. I'm gonna flush mount some exterior waterproof USB ports, and then we'll be able to operate it with this aux button here and have lights all the way up under this truck. And I like this awning too because it don't just cover the back of the truck, it actually covers the front. As you can see, I can get in and out of my truck, get stuff out of the back. I can get to our refrigerator. If we need to get something out of our fridge, I can pull it out. It's too cold to bring anything in the fridge right now anyway, but see, we got the full coverage all the way around us. This is gonna be awesome. And you can kind of tell what I meant by the fabric right here. See this honeycomb looking shapes on the fabric? It's a really good looking fabric too. I like that it's black. It's got the stake down points right here. And then if you can tell on the very top of the tent, the rainfly is the same material. So all of this actually ended up matching really well. It is a little slack and loose, as you can see the wind's kicking. It's because I haven't got it pulled all the way tight. I just kind of pulled the handle. What you want to do is use the carabiners that they've got and use it to kind of hook the front up. If you've got a rack, you can hook it up to your front rack like that and just kind of pull it tight. These things are awesome. The way the legs kick down is like this right here. You undo the strap, the leg will fall down. Undo that, just like on a tripod. You push your stake down into the ground, and then you can lift up on this to get your level, and then you just lock it into place. How cool is that? All right, let's go check, see how warm she is inside this tent. Is it warm yet?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's actually
Oh,
really
wow.
warm in here.
It is warm in here.
This tent's got a lot more room than the other one. Like, I feel like that kick-out part in the back makes a big difference in the amount of room.
It really does, and it's
Yeah.
all black with the skylight.
Yeah.
And you can change the colors with the remote on that up there.
This mattress feels better, too.
That. Yeah, the mattress is super thick. I showed it in the last video.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Look
got
how
memory
thick
foam
that-
on the top of it or something like that. It feels really, really good.
Yeah, there's gonna be plenty of room to sleep in here. Now, y'all probably do notice that I don't have the top racks on the tent, and that is because once I got it installed onto my Overland rack in the shop that y'all watched at the beginning of the video, whenever I mounted it on my truck, I wanted to test to see if my truck would fit in my garage. It actually barely fits without the racks. So I pulled the racks off the top just to see if I could fit in my shop. And sure enough, I was able to pull into my garage. The top of those tracks that are on the tent actually rub the weather stripping on my garage door on the way in. That's how tight it is, but it does fit without them, so I took them off. All right, guys, that is our new tent for 2025 and our new 270 awning. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like the tent or you like the awning and you're thinking about getting you one, be sure to check the links in the video description. I've got links and coupon codes for just about everything you've seen in my videos. This tent is awesome. We're actually gonna hang out here for a couple more hours since the sun's out, even though it is absolutely freezing. Can y'all see my breath out here right now? It is cold, but we've got the heater. I think we're gonna hang out here, kind of dial everything in and plan some upcoming trips. We got some really cool adventures coming. We wanna go up north this year, take the truck, set it up north. So y'all stay tuned for that. If you're interested in anything, like I said, be sure to check out coupon codes. It'll save you some money at checkout. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. I upload every Monday at 6 p.m. and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.